In this video, let us study post-fertilization events. The sexual reproduction may be studied under three steps. One is pre-fertilization event, second is fertilization, and the third is post-fertilization events. In previous class, we have seen gametogenesis, pre-fertilization event, fertilization. Fertilization means union of male and female gamete. After fertilization, the zygote is formed. Fertilization may be external or internal. That also we have seen. Fertilization in plants and also in animals. Okay. Now we shall study post-fertilization events. Definition. The events that occur after fertilization are called post-fertilization events. What is the meaning of this definition? The events that occur after fertilization. So, whatever the events which takes place after fertilization are called post-fertilization events. Okay. Post-fertilization event may be studied under two steps. One, the formation of zygote, and second, embryogenesis. Now we shall study first the formation of zygote. When fertilization takes place, union of male and female gamete takes place. After fertilization, the zygote is formed. In all sexually reproducing organisms, means both in plants and animals. So after fertilization, the zygote is formed in animals and plants. Thus formed zygote is always diploid because it is formed by the union of male and female gamete. That is the sperm and the egg. Okay. So thus zygote is formed. The next question. Where exactly the zygote is formed in organisms? The organisms which shows external fertilization, naturally the zygote is formed externally. Externally means mostly in water. Because here the female lay the egg in water. So fertilization also takes place in water. Zygote also formed in water. What about the animals or the plants which shows internal fertilization? In such organisms, zygote is formed always internally. So thus the development of zygote mainly depend on the type of life cycle. So the zygote is formed internally or zygote is formed externally. After the zygote formation, the development of zygote takes place. The development is depend upon the type of life cycle, especially in the plants. You have studied the types of life cycle in your first PUC. In fungi and algae, after the formation of zygote, or this sometimes we call zygospore in fungi, the zygote secrete thick wall around it, which undergoes a period of rest. The zygote undergoes a period of rest. Okay, then it develops. The organisms which shows haplontic life cycle in which the zygote undergoes meiosis or reduction division to form haploid spores. The haploid spores again develop into new individuals. You may recall the type of life cycle in fungi and algae. In some algae and fungi, the plant body is haploid. Haploid plant gives rise to haploid plant. This type of life cycle we call haplontic type of life cycle. Okay. Next. In angiosperm, gymnosperms, the plant body is diploid. Angiospermic plant body is sporophyte, gymnospermic plant body is sporophyte, which shows diplontic life cycle in which this zygote directly develop into an individual. After fertilization, the diploid zygote is formed. This zygote directly develops into new individual without undergoing meiosis. If we examine the life cycle of angiosperms and gymnosperms, the diploid plant gives rise to diploid plant only. We call diplontic life cycle. If we examine the life cycle of bryophytes, in bryophytes, the plant body, that is the dominant body or the main body, the thallus, is haploid. Okay. So in bryophytes, the type of life cycle is haplodiplontic type. After fertilization, the zygote is formed that represents the diploid phase. The zygote develops into what is known as sporophyte. The sporophyte, when reaches maturity, it undergoes, or this spore mother cell undergoes meiosis or reduction division and forms haploid spores. These spores later on gives rise to haploid gametophyte. That is, the spore develops into gametophyte. If you examine carefully, the haploid plant gives rise to diploid plant, sporophyte. The sporophyte then gives rise to haploid plant, gametophyte. We come across haplodiplontic type of life cycle. Okay. Here the meiosis we call sporic meiosis. In algae it is called, algae fungi, zygotic meiosis. Next, I will tell you most important point. All sexually reproducing organisms are multicellular and having complex body, including human beings. But look at this. The life begins with a single cell, that is fertilized cell, zygote. We, the human being, in our body, we have more than 10 billions of cells. But we developed from a single fertilized egg cell called zygote. One important notable point, how many cells are there in amoeba? Only one cell. What about in the zygote? Zygote also single cell. Look here. Okay. ಈ ಥರ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹಿಂದಿನದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಥರ ಹೆಕೇಲ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ zygote. Next step, embryogenesis. For 1 mark, it's very important. What is embryogenesis? The process of development of zygote into an embryo is called embryogenesis. Thus formed embryo develop into new individual. Look here, zygote is single-celled, but it later on gives rise to multicellular organism. Okay, now we shall trace out the embryogenesis. The zygote divides mitotically and form many cells. How means? The zygote divide, again divide, again divide, divide and redivide, then forms many cells and form what is known as the embryo. All the embryonic cells are similar, but later on undergoes differentiation. Okay, differentiation. See, differentiation means you might have studied the root tip in your first POC. Root tip shows the cells which divide, we call meristematic tissue. So, at the root tip region, there are cells or the region we call meristematic region. All the cells are similar. Then these cells undergo differentiation and forms different types of tissues like parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem to perform different functions. That process we call differentiation. Okay, so means the zygotic cells, the embryonic cells undergo differentiation and forms different types of tissues. Tissues, you know the meaning of tissues, a group of similar cells which many different types of tissues form organ. Say for example, a branch, a leaf you can say now, a fruit which consists of different types of tissues. Epidermis is there, collenchyma is there, xylem is there, sclerenchyma is there, phloem is there. All these tissues forms what is known as organs. A branch, a fruit, a leaf. Then these organs form what is known as organism, the plant body. Okay. In flowering plants, zygote is formed inside the ovule because the ovule contains the egg. Okay. So this zygote develops into an embryo. We have seen the process. Okay? Then, what about the ovules? The ovules after fertilization develops into a seeds. The ovary develops into fruit. Okay. There is a diagram. You can see in the fruit wall and the seeds, where the seeds are exactly present. They are found inside the fruit wall. The ovary wall develop into fruit wall. We call pericarp. Its function is protection. See the diagram. There is pericarp, that is all of the fruit. Inside that, we notice the seeds. Okay. Then, after the dispersal of seeds, seeds germinate into new plants. So that's all the development of zygote or the embryogenesis in plants. What about in animals? Based on the development of zygote, means whether the zygote is formed inside the female parent or the outside. The animals are classified into oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous animals. See, oviparous animals. The animals which lay the eggs are called oviparous animals. Example, the reptiles, birds. So these are very good example for oviparous animals. What is the meaning or definition? The animals which lay the eggs are called oviparous animals. In these animals, fertilized eggs secrete a hard shell that we call calcareous shell. Means it is chemically contain calcium. ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ನೋಡಿರಿ ನೀವು, ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಗ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ shell. So, what is the function of this shell? The shell is meant for the protection. So the egg, which are in the environment, because the animals lay the eggs, the environment for the better protection, there is a shell. In these oviparous animals, the female incubate the egg, fertilized egg. After incubation period, the young one comes out or hatches out. Okay. So in oviparous animals, the young one is developed outside the female. The chances of survival is less because there is no parental care for the young one. So you must note down this very important point. What about in viviparous animals? The animals which give birth to young one are called viviparous animals. ಈ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮರಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವು ಮರಿ ಹಾಕಂಥ ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್. Say for example, human being, cow, cat, rat, tiger, lion. The fertilization, of course, takes place inside the female parent. The zygote is formed inside the female parent. The young one also develop inside the female parent. Okay. So there is protection for the young one. But in oviparous animals, there is no protection. No parental care is there. Another important thing, the young one get nourished. Oviparous animals nalli ಆ ಥರ ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. These are some of the differences between oviparous and viviparous animals with examples. Okay. In viviparous animals, the survival of young one is high. That is, the percentage is high. But the survival chance in case of oviparous animals, less. Okay. Next, a few of them are ovoviviparous animals. The eggs develop inside the female body. The zygote, one mistake ಆಗಿದೆ. The zygote develops inside the female body, but they won't nourish. Very good example, shark. Okay. That's all about post-fertilization event. It also appears for 5 marks or 3 marks, 2 marks, 1 mark, like that. Explain embryogenesis is very important. Thank you.